everybody. Good morning. Thank you for being here. As every year, it is a great pleasure to welcome everybody to this new edition of VivaTech. We're very excited to welcome you here. We hope you enjoy everything we have to show in terms of our innovations. Obviously, this year, 2023, is a year that is pretty much marked or dictated by discussions about technology, even in those who are usually not focused or concerned with technology. Obviously, with the advent and rise of ChatGPT, generative AI, AI has entered and penetrated every industry, every business, every type of organizations. And for those of you who were with us here last year and even the previous year, you know that we've been active in this space very closely, talking about how AI needs to be ethical by design last year, and explaining how we see technology and AI, as well as generative AI is no exception, as a tool that can augment employers, employees, candidates, and recruiters. So with that, we wanted to give you a little glimpse, a little kind of teaser into what you are going to see during this exhibition this year. And one of the points that is very important to us is to move away beyond the usual kind of tension or dichotomy that pitches humans against AI or humans against technology, to understand how both can augment each other. So with that, I'm here joined today by two people of our global innovation team, Christine Boys and Stijn Kateu. I've been practicing the Flemish pronunciation, not easy, but challenge number one surpassed. Was that okay? Okay. Who lead various innovations initiatives and coordinate much of the bottom-up disruptive innovation projects we have, which include a lot of the startups that you'll be seeing here today. So let me start with you, Christine. You also have a background in organizational psychology, which has been infiltrated and influenced by AI a lot in the last 5 years. One of the things that people don't discuss often is how our dependence on technology and AI is actually augmenting the importance of soft skills in candidates, clients, and employees. So do you want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, excellent. So I think the question of soft skills is really an important one, and one of the terms I like to use when I think about them is I stopped kind of calling them soft skills. Sometimes now I call them power skills, because they are so critical, and I think they're becoming more critical the more technology plays a role. So Tomas, you introduced tech and generative AI as tools, and that's how we need to think of them. But we know that in the workplace, when someone is unhappy and they leave, they don't leave because the tech was good or the tech was bad. They quit their boss, right? And so those soft skills, particularly for leaders, are so much more important when we're seeing a world where change is just, the rate of change continues to increase. So things like empathy, understanding your team, helping figure out what motivates them so that you can be there for them and give them meaningful work. That's all aligned with the Manpower Group vision of giving people meaningful, sustainable work. And I think if we continue to think of AI as a tool, then that leadership, those soft skills become even more important.
And when we think about leaders, what does the future of leadership look like? What do leaders need to be aware of to lead effectively in an age in which AI and humans need to be a synergy and, in sync or tandem?
So I think the qualities that make a good leader today are in large part similar to what have made a good leader in the past. But what I'm seeing is an increase in the importance of the ability to manage change, because the change is happening more rapidly. And as a leader, it's not just the change that's happening to your team, it's the change that's happening to yourself as a leader. So leading yourself and others at the same time becomes even more important.
Okay, fantastic. So Stijn, thank you for being here with us in the analog world, because we know we almost lost you to the metaverse the last 2 years. So just so you know, everybody here is here in the flesh. This is not a 3D, it is a 3D experience. Sorry. Tell us a little bit about the impact that two of the innovations we'll be showcasing here, the metaverse or virtual reality on the one hand, and then generative AI is having in the recruitment and HR or human capital industry.
Yeah, and I hope you hear me as well. Yeah. So yeah, and I think if we tackle virtual reality first, for example, it will definitely impact our HR processes and the way we work. But still, humans will be the future. So the technology will be there to enforce. And if we think about virtual reality, it could impact, for example, onboarding. It could impact learning and development, talent acquisitions, working together in a digital world. And just there at your back screen, and from the people who are from Manpower, you will recognize our headquarter digital. We try to indeed bring this technology to our recruiters and to our clients and candidates to make beneficial added value out of onboarding, learning and development. And we're going to kick off this summer, for example, our first Experience Academy classes in a universe virtual reality. So that's really exciting. I think if you think about ChatGPT and generative AI, it's definitely having an impact. But again, it is still important that it's a supporting tool. Humans are still the future. I think you wrote a great book about it, Thomas.
Thank you.
and indeed, I believe that in that point, Manpower Group and his nature and his purpose will become even more important than it was the past 75 years, because we are already that far.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we love about all this new wave of innovations in the HR, human capital, and recruitment space is that they're very much driven by candidates. There are things that employers are really almost nudged to use and evaluate because they can improve the candidate experience, including not just better, but also more inclusive hiring. So that takes me to the next question, Christine, which is ROI. Obviously, we see a lot of our clients being very interested in these innovations. What's the difference between just chasing the latest shiny new objects or shiniest new object and actually deploying it in a way that shows returns on investment?
Well, I think it comes a bit back to basics, right? So your ROI, anytime you're measuring something, it needs to be linked to your business strategy. And if you haven't done that, then you are just chasing the latest shiny object and you're going to be kind of spinning your wheels. So for example, when we think about staffing, we think about Manpower Group, we look at how can we use AI and use tools like assessments to digitize data about talent to increase recruiter productivity, for example. Very aligned with our business strategy. But if you haven't made that connection, I think that's where a lot of places will have a miss.
Okay, excellent. And Stein, one of the things that a lot of our clients and organizations in general struggle with is they sometimes buy great technology, they're very excited by their investment, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have immediate optimal adoption. What are some of the things to consider so that organizations can not just acquire, but also leverage and get value realization from these great tools?
Yeah, and I think we all know the phrase, culture eats whatever for breakfast. I think emphasizing on that culture, not only from a bottom-up perspective, you need to give colleagues influence, you need to give them a platform to share ideas, to discuss with each other, but as well as Christine already reached out, we have a need for different leadership skills to run this differentiator, to really adopt the technology as it should. And I also want to emphasize on our must be as Manpower Group to not only focus on recruiters, for example, to adopt technology, but also our role in an ESG point for leaving nobody behind, but it's going so fast, so we need to be aware that our candidates as well have as much as potential use of all the new technology. And I think My Path and all the other programs we have could be a real beneficial point here. So that's a very important one, leaving nobody behind from our candidates and talent pools as well.
Fantastic. So technology used as an equalizer and as a tool for inclusivity or inclusiveness. So final question for both of you. What's the single innovation or tool that we have here, either in our booth or elsewhere, that excites you the most? What have you been most impressed by?
Well, I'm very much much looking forward to the discussion later on how to advance women in tech. This is an area that's very important to me, so I'm looking forward to that discussion. And I dare to say I'll be a bit provocative at a technology conference, but the conversation I most want to have with everyone here is about the human element. So when we think about humans first in AI, where do humans fit in? How can we use AI as that supporting tool? That's really what I'm looking forward to at VivaTech.
Very good. And Stain?
Well, I think thinking on our booth, I'm really looking forward to see how our clients will react on Talent Pulse, our new workforce data and insight tool to provide insights on the workforce landscape where our clients in, and that drives us conversations to work to a beneficial solution for them. And to the outside, you are going for the human skills. I'm really interested in learning more about how VivaTech is looking at Web3, because if you see everything was happening on stages, some of them believe it's dead, some of them believe it's the future, some of them believe it's already here. So Web3 definitely will be an attention point for me.
Fantastic. And my personal is the startup competition. We're starting today with that, showcasing some of the new talent in the tech startup world with our usual awards. So hopefully you can join us for that as well. So again, great to see you all. Enjoy the exhibition and please walk around, talk to our colleagues and find out what we're up to. Thank you very much.